Hi, everybody. I'm Yaya,
And I'm B.
and we are Stalgia, and we're hanging out with Rob on Front Row Live.
I know Stalgia was initially a side project. What is it about Stalgia that made you want to pursue it as the full-time project, and how different was it from that main project?
It was a lot different. It's a different genre. It was a genre that we kind of blended a few genres together, and we enjoyed writing it a lot more, playing it a lot more, and it was just more of what we liked rather than trying to impress people out there.
Right.
And that came off organically because people dug it from the get-go. So
Yeah, we're not like trying to, copy anyone or anything. It's kind of like we put out a style of music that, only we could create, I think. And so we like it. It's definitely organic, and that's what we like about it.
And then when we saw the reception that people had for it,
Right.
that's when we were like, okay, this is what we're supposed to be doing.
You guys have tried various different projects prior to it. A lot of trial and error, I guess you would say. But where did it originally start for you guys? What was that first genre that you guys really wanted to be performing with?
Well, we started out in alternative, and I came from a background of soul and hip hop and R&B, and his background was a lot different than mine. And
More like rock, and like my mom would be singing like soul and like Motown like growing up, so like I had an ear for that. And Stalgia is kind of like a mixture of both our styles of music.
so we started off with the alternative, but then realized that this is not where we're supposed to be.
Yeah.
So it took, you're right, trial and error to find that perfect blend of genres, because I don't think you could put us in one,
Right.
to be honest, and I like that about it.
Now, I feel like even though you probably are not a rock band or a hip hop artist, I feel like those different genres still kind of play a major role in what you're doing today. So how did you really transition them all into today's music?
I think like Kanye says, he's like, you have to make your music, but you got to put some like current vibes in it for it to be successful. So I mean, I think we kind of just created something.
The whole point of the name, Stalgia.
Yeah.
Every influence that we had from our past put into our music. So it's not really an influence of a certain band or a certain genre. It's all of them pooled together. So we just kind of go off each other's vibe and the vibe of what we're writing, and take what we've learned from in the past and make it into something nostalgic.
Right. Now, going off of each other's vibes, what is that like when you guys are sitting down to produce a track?
We're always on the same wavelength, always, which is what makes it so enjoyable and fun and easy, because he'll come up with a beat or some beautiful cinematic instrumental, and then he'll start singing melodies, and I'll go off of his melodies, and he's literally the melody guru. Like he's the master. But it's nice because he has this very soul person inside of him that you didn't know was in there, and he'll come singing these melodies, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that reminds me of the 90s R&B, or that reminds me of India Arie or Aretha Franklin or something and then we just combine our efforts together, and then we produce it together as well. It didn't start off that way, but now we produce it together and just read off of each other's energies.
Everything's done between us. Like we don't have a producer, outside producer. It's just us. And it's a process for sure, because it takes a long time to finish one song. We don't like to rush music. We try to take our time with it and do revisions and stuff like that.
So let's talk about Body, creating this track in general. How long did this track really take? How many different
It's weird,
edits, I guess you would say?
Body almost didn't happen.
It almost didn't happen.
We wrote it, and it went through our team, and they thought maybe it wasn't the right song right now or whatever, and Lauren and I fought for it, and it eventually was really successful, and it's hasn't even hit its peak of success yet.
And it didn't take too long to write. It was one of those pieces that was pretty organic. It happened quickly. And it just kind of fell into place, and the more we worked with it, the more we loved it. And then at the end, everyone was like, yes, this is the one. It's funny to think that it almost wasn't released, but yeah.
What was it about Body that you guys really wanted to fight for it?
Real.
Yeah, it's real, and it just had God, it just you can tell when when something clicks, you know, and it's like the hook was just like was good. It was just really
about like, I feel like every song is about like love or I'm into you, you're into me kind of thing. And this one was dealing with your demons, like something that's not supposed to happen, something that kind of is playing with your fate or your destiny, and you have to control your temptations or control the demons inside of you. It's the kind of like the things that people struggle with love, you know? And I know it's close to my heart, so that's why I think people like it, because it's not fake.
Yeah, and we love it. I mean, yeah.
Now, being that was the track that's out today, and that's also your debut music video, how different was it going into this music video process, especially since, like you mentioned, like you feel that song?
I think that made it easy for me to perform.
Okay.
It was kind of like a battle with, it looked like to me, the music video was like me fighting for my self-assurance, if you understand what I mean. You know, like fighting for myself to get out of this temptation, and it made it easier to perform because I know what the song is. I know what the feelings are, so that made it easier for me.
So did it just feel natural for you to be in it as well, like instead of having a cast that actually like takes your spot?
It did, yeah. It felt more natural. And I didn't, for this specific video, I wanted it to be us, you know, so people could see who we are.
Exactly.
You know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now moving forward, there's a debut EP coming up. How different is it from Body, and what was the process for this debut EP like?
I think we wanted like variation. Like I wanted when people listen to the album, it's going to be like crazy. Like some songs will be acoustic, some songs will be trap, some songs will have like a 90s vibe, some
will be like more funky.
Yeah, it's like nostalgic. As long as it like makes people feel like nostalgic when they listen to it, like that's our goal. It's like it was just making, I don't know, it's like a singles game now, you know? It's like, let's put out a single, let's see what sells the most numbers and gets the many, you know, most streams and stuff. So like for us, we were just trying to create something beautiful and like memorable and eclectic, and we're lucky enough to work with a team that like lets us do that, you know, which doesn't happen very often.
Yeah. Any song that we write, we just hope that it makes you enlightened or feel some sort of way. Like that's what we hope, you know.
Now, you were mentioning your team. How did you guys get connected with your team?
It was through our old manager. Yeah, he connected us to Evan Bogart, and we played him the music, and he just like he vibed out to it immediately. Like loved it, and yeah, we just wanted to make sure we were like working with people that like really got our vision. Like we're cool with us doing kind of like an organic growth, not like something like here today, gone tomorrow. Like we wanted something that was long lasting and that we could create real music that was important to us. So that, you know, Crooked Paintings, they're good people, and they're passionate and they love the music that we make. So it's a great fit.
Yeah.
Now, you guys have been working, you know, in the music industry for a while now. So I'm sure there's been again a lot of trial and tribulations that you guys have gone through. What has been the biggest change that you guys have noticed as musicians?
Fan reception.
Yeah, fan reception.
The people that reach out to us and the fans that we've been accumulating, they're so awesome. They're so sweet and they're so real, and like that's something we're not used to.
Right.
And it's been growing in number and organically, you know, slowly but steadily, and that's the biggest difference. Like it's like that's good enough for me.
Yeah, it's almost like weird, like to us, like to think that there's people out there like reach out to us,
like
and we're not like any different. No. We just, you know, it's cool. Like we've had people reach out to us, say like, you know, Rust or got us through like a really hard time in our life. Like we were like suicidal. Like that is what it's about to us, and that's been like the biggest change. It's definitely fan reception, and just like I don't know, like the thought of being bigger than we actually are. Like people having that perception is just weird to us. So like take us out, yeah.
Now with mentioning when fans are telling you this song got me through this or X, Y, and Z, like, do you guys think about that when you guys are writing new material?
Well, I feel like being true to myself is what would be inspirational to them. Mm-hmm. The fact that I'm going through this too, and like, so if you are, then it could help you. Yeah. I do think about that while writing, with lyrically, like what I put out there, what we put out there, someone's gonna hear it and maybe it would help them through a hard time, and that's what I hope that it does. That's the whole basis behind the music.
Now, moving forward with the debut EP, do you guys have like a set release date yet? Maybe a title for the EP?
Yeah,
we've been tossing back titles, but we're gonna keep it. Like, we're trying to keep it under wraps for now.
Yeah.
But no date either. We're gonna release like a few songs. You know, keep like throwing it out there.
The album.
Yeah.
Well, like you mentioned, Body is doing really good, but it's not at the end yet. So might as well let it keep going.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff happening.
There's a lot of planned things happening for Body, which is really cool. I don't think I should say but I'm excited.
Now, what about show-wise? Any concerts coming up? Any tour plans?
Yeah, we're just gonna try to find. It just has to be right, you know. Like we want to make sure all the music's there and that it's the right venue and like you know, like
vibe, right energy.
Yeah, we'd rather be patient with it,
right?
And it'd be like an amazing show. So.
But that is definitely in the works. It will be happening soon.
Cool. Now, I usually like to close it off with letting the artist or letting the audience that have never heard of the artist know why they're so different from any other artists out there. So there's a lot of EDM artists, there's a lot of rock artists, there's a lot of new music every day. So what makes you guys so different?
Well, we're real people and we write it ourselves and we're passionate about it and the people who care for it. So I think really that speaks for itself. I think the music speaks for itself, and I think the reception that we've had also speaks towards that. Yeah. So it's easy to say, oh, you know, I'm different, I'm better than everyone else, but I think that's something that just has to be protruded out of you. I don't think you can really explain it.